Okay, so yesterday we are discussing about indexes, right? So we'll recap once, like what are the prerequisites if you want to create the index. So what is the advantage of index? We are going to recap once. Okay, see, the indexes will help us to retrieve the data fastly. Simple definition for that. Indexes will help us to retrieve the data fastly. Okay, if you have the index page, okay, so if the textbook is having index page. Okay, you note it down like this topic is in this page. So they mentioned in that particular index, but you are not looking that index page. You are not using that index page, and you are trying to find the constraint concept or index concept where it is located in your textbook. Okay, in such place. Okay, if the the textbook is having index page, but you are not using that, meaning the index page you haven't used. If you use that index page, then only you can able to reach your destination fastly. Meaning of that, if you have the table, okay, if you have the table, so you created index for some X column. If you are using that X column in the where class, then only the index usage is happening in your table. If you are not using that index column in the where class, okay, there is no advantage of the index. Okay, index can work whenever you are using that index column in the where class. Okay, else it will go for the full scan. Okay, see indexes, you can create index for a table to improve the performance of queries of issued, performance of queries issued against the corresponding table. See, if you are using some table while retrieving the data from that particular table, if you are retrieving that whole table of information, so if you create the index, if you haven't created the index, there is no use because you are verifying each and every page. The index is also present in your textbook, but there is no use of that because you are verifying each and every page. Okay, so then if you have the index page, okay, if you want to reach some particular page or particular topic in such page, if we use that where class, so where select star from textbook, where topic name equal to constraints. Okay, in such case only the index will help you to reach, right? The same way, if we use that, you can also create indexes on a clustered. So this is not required. Right? Okay, you can create composite index on multiple columns up to 32 columns. How we are creating that composite constraint? If you create the constraint for one column, that it's a normal constraint. If you create the same constraint with more than one column, that we can call it as a composite constraint. The same way we can call it as a this also. Okay. If you want to create the index, okay. So the user need to have some prerequisites. The user need to take some privileges from the admin user. Okay. So what the admin privilege is request. Okay. So create index. Create index is the privilege. If you want to create index on your own user, this privilege is enough for you. If you want to create index in any other user, so in any other user along with you, so in your user and as well as the other users. Okay, so these two privileges you need to get it from the privilege based on your requirement. Okay, these are the prerequisites if you are trying to create the indexes on your machine. So you need to take that privileges. Okay, so then now we created the index. So the syntax for the creation of index, create index name on table name of column name. This is index. So if you want to create the table, create table name of call name data type and so on, right? So if you want to create any database objects, we are using the DDL commands. I said, if you want to create the table, we'll use the DDL command. Now I'm saying if you want to create any database object, we'll use the DDL commands. See, now you created the table is one data object type. Index is another object type. Okay. Now create the index for any some table. Okay. Syntax create index. Index name will be, see on which column you are creating. If you are creating for let's start from EMP, if we have this table. Now we are trying to create the index for any one of this column. Treat like as a manager ID. Okay, manager ID. Now we are trying to create the index on manager ID. So index, you are creating index, right? So means some name, IND or ID, something like. Okay, so the organization follows their own naming convention that you need to follow. So every organization, they have some rules and regulations. You need to give the table name starting with S. Okay, or packages. If you are creating the package name ending should be TKG. So if you are creating the store procedures, so you need to maintain STPR or PROC. They are following some rules and regulations. So you need to check and follow the same rules in your organization. Okay. Now IND. So maybe you are creating the name, column name. If you have the full name, I mean bigger name, so make some short names. Okay. So then on which table you are making this index. So you can mention that as well, some short name. If you have like 30, 40 characters, you cannot maintain some name that need to be understand. So now index you created for manager column on the employee table. You may guess something like that. Okay, index on which table you need to create, EMP. Okay, so then manager ID. Okay, now you are trying to retrieve the data here. Your table is having index, but you are retrieving the full information. It will go for the full scan because you are not using the index space. Now, if you use this column in the where class, where mgr equals to 7902. Then now the index can be help you. Okay. So if you are creating the index, it automatically won't increase the performance. It automatically, so it won't automatically increase the performance. Okay. So that if we use that indexed column in the where class, then only it gain the performance. Okay. If you are not using in the sense that it won't improve. Okay. Then we have the types of indexes. Okay. You created the table and you are just one second. Okay. See, if you are creating the index, what happened at the backend? Okay. What happened at backend? Okay. So how you have the row ID concept? Row ID from EMP, right? Row ID is a physical address of the record where it is located in your machine. Okay. They have some address ID for that. If you create the index, it creates some index ID, how you have the row ID concept. Okay, if you create the index on manager ID, the thing how it will happen. Employee number, manager, and row ID. If you short this, see all 7566. So in this format, the data will get short. See now, see there is no order of row IDs here. Now AAM, AAH, AAL, AAB, it's not in the order, right? Because if you create the index, well, while making of the textbook, see the concept we are making in the order of the concepts. So we have like DDL commands that will be in first place. Okay, then we have like data types. It will be in second. So in the respective order, we need to make the index page. So if you're creating some index on the particular column, I said, if you are creating the index on the table, it works as a IoT table, index organizer table. So if you are inserting some data, it sort that and store that information handy, right? So in such case, if you create the index on this manager ID, the data will keep in this format. All 7566 in one place, all 7698 in one place. In this format, the data will get sorted. Okay, see, while retrieving the data, if you are trying to find like a 7698 information, so it starts from 1 till 7698. If it reaches greater than the 7698, meaning 7699 if it reach, the search operation is going to stop that particular point. You are searching A name, starting with A name. If you are seeing the B, starting with B name, so you need to stop the searching operation or finding the persons. You need to start from that particular point, right? So this is happening at the backend. If you create the index will be sorted. It creates some index ID for each and every record, and it retrieve the data based on that index ID, not with your actual values. Okay. Now we created the index, and see now you are inserting the data, and now we have this 14 records. If we insert like a lakhs of data at a time in your table, okay, so it creates some index ID for each and every record while inserting the data itself. Okay, you have like 1 crore data in your table. If you are updating something from 7698 to 7788 something, so you are changing the order of, say now the one starting with one numbers in one first place. If you are doing that starting with one number, you are making as a nines. So wherever you are seeing the one in starting, you are making as a 9. And you are wherever you are seeing like 5 starting with 5 numbers, you are making as a 4 something like. You made some updates on your data, right? The index values need to be updated, right? If you are doing the textbook changes, right? So you release like a 2022 book textbook with constrained sorry like DDL commands, data types, constraints, something in their order. See in 23 textbook you made the change data types, DDL commands, constraints. You made this change on your textbook, not in the index page. If you are not like making the change on the index level as well, okay, the index will be corrupted. There is no use, right? If you haven't like made the change of index page as well, so that won't be help you, right? See the meaning of that. If you are doing some data changes, you need to, if you are doing some data updations on the table, you need to rebuild the index again. Got it? You need to rebuild the index. That will help you to reach the required topic. So now the values, so wherever you are seeing the 1, now it becoming like 9. So we updated with 9. So 5 in the place 4. These values get updated. The index ID need to be updated for that. Okay. If you want to do that change. So if you cannot able to drop and recreate each and every time. If you want to do that task, you need to drop and recreate that index, right? So if you want to drop that, simply use. Okay. Now we have, if you want to drop the index, well, drop this index, drop index name, and you can recreate that index on the same column. Okay, if you are updating the value on the manager column only, then it get update. See, the index can be corrupted. Okay, if you are updating something else, it won't trouble you. Okay, so in such case, you need to rebuild the index. So instead of drop and recreate, so use alter table or the syntax index name rebuild index alter index name rebuild. Okay, so alter index name rebuild. Okay, so this will rebuild the index. Okay, it drop and recreate how we are creating the view. See, instead of dropping the view and recreating it, we are using simply or replace keyword. Create or replace. The same way, it is rebuilding the index IDs for each and every record if we use this command. Okay, now see, while creating of the table, see if you mention like this, if you mention like this use like if you are creating the table, if you are creating the index, if you are creating anything, constraint or anything in your mission, it use the common table space for your task. Okay, see, there is some public Wi-Fi and you have some private Wi-Fi. If you are not saying anything, so if the public Wi-Fi does not have the password, if you are not using like a private network, so if you are in the public Wi-Fi place, it automatically connect with you and you can use that net, right? If you are in the private network, that will help you. No one will access that private network. You can work fastly. You can watch the movie or anything. It will gain the performance, right? Instead of using the public Wi-Fi, if you use a public as a private Wi-Fi, it is gaining you your work performance. The same way, if you want to do anything in your mission, it use the table space, right? If you are doing something here, it use the table space at the back end. If you are not saying to the computer anything to the Oracle, by default, it use the default table space, common table space for all. Default, whatever the default table space we have, that is common for all. If you want to use your private table space. So if you want to create the tables, you will maintain some separate table space. For indexes, you can maintain some separate table space. Okay. So if you have like, if you have the kids and working person in the house, for kids and working person, if you use the same net, maybe it will give the trouble in the olden days, not now. Now you may use both like, okay. So in such case, what we will do? So for watching the movie, we are putting some net other Wi-Fi, and working purpose, we are using another Wi-Fi. That will gain your productivity. The same way, while creating of the index, instead of using like default table space, use your own table space, whatever the table space you know. Table space. So what are the table space we have? You can check in your machine. So if you want to know that, select start from. So dba underscore table space. Okay, table space. Okay, see now you may use the table, any one of the table space here. Now the table, the index can be created and stored in this particular table space. Okay, so cannot create segment in undo table space. So you cannot able to use this. So you may use, now by default it is taking users. By default it is taking users. Okay, now the index, you are mentioning the particular table space from where you need to use. So on which memory you need to use, you can mention that. That will help you to store. Index is all in separate table space. While creating the table itself, also table also you can mention simply. No, we can able to. DBA people will create. We can also create. You can check how to create the table space. You can Google it and you can type it. Will get. But you can able to create the table space on sys user, not with any other users. Okay. Create table name. So what are the column names you need to mention? Then you can mention simply this. This. This will create the table in the different table space. Okay. If you haven't mentioned whatever the default table space we have for that particular user, it will automatically keep that in this place, user's place. Okay. Now we learn the index creation, how to create and how to rebuild the index, how to drop the index, what type of indexes we have. Okay. So now we are going to see what type of indexes we have. So we have indexes B tree. The B tree index will split that. If you have like a, I said like here, it sort the data and store that in one place, right? Now you have these things, right? Now the data is going to sort in this place and make as a set. You see the Excel. Okay, so it split the data into, it make this group. Okay, it make this group. We have this group of records. Now if we have this, the data will be get splitted into two parts. So now we have like 15 records, I thought. So maybe it get converted into this. Sorry. You need to keep this data as well. Copy and paste it in this well, then only you can able to understand. Okay, now I can keep this. Okay, now the remaining records in the second set. The data is splitting in this format. That's the reason. This is one node or one set. Now this one set is becoming like a two sets. Now it got converted to two sets. Now again, now you are like just if you mention like a what you mentioned 7902, right? Where manager ID equal to 7902. The data will split it this format. Okay, it searches that 7902 is available in this set or not. Not available. Then it will look for this set. And again, this set is becoming like a another two sets. Control C, then Control V. We have the things. This is okay. Now 7902, this in this set is not available. It ignore this search operation from this point, and it continue the search in this second set. Still, it have the value, but it need to separate. So one value to this. Now this value is going to display for you. Okay. So in this way, the data is splitting. So you treat like as this is your main pillar. Okay. And these are the leaves. We are not making the diagrammatic very correctly here. That works in the tree manner. Okay. So now we learn the B tree. So whatever the index, if you haven't mentioned anything, just create index name on table of column, meaning it's a B tree index because If you haven't mentioned anything, treat like as a B-tree index. The user is asking to create the B-tree index. I'm going to create that. Default. By default, it creates the B-tree index. Okay. If you want to create other indexes, is there any other indexes to create? Yes, we have other indexes, bitmap index, function-based index, unique index, right? This much only. Okay. So bitmap index will help you to create the index for low cardinality columns. For low cardinality columns. So where we have the column is having only two different values for the entire column. Okay, we'll create the bitmap index. Simply, you can mention the index bitmap. If we want to create unique index, we'll maintain unique. Everything else same, just you will mention the keyword for that prior of index name. Okay, then I said like the function based index. So if you are creating any index based on the, so with the help of any function, simply with the help of any function, function name of the column name. This we can call it as a function based index. I already shown some example how it is working in the where class. Okay. So this is about the indexes we covered. So if you are creating the indexes, the index is going to store in user underscore indexes. Select star from user underscore indexes. If you want to know what the index, so this is for which column you created this index. You are not seeing the column name for which index. Okay, this index for which column you created. So we are not able to understand in this particular table or meta object. How will you identify? So how we have to know in user underscore cons underscore columns we have, right? The same way we have user underscore ind underscore columns. This index for this employee table of this particular column. If you create the index for more than one column, if you create the index for more than one column, so where it is, I'm dropping this index, I'm recreating it. Okay, so you can mention like employee number, comma, manager. Okay, now see, this we can call it as a composite index. This we can call it as a composite index. You can check in user underscore this. Now we are seeing three entries. The same index name, you are seeing the two columns, column 1 and column 2, right? If we have the composite index, so while working with composite index, if you are trying to retrieve the data, now for employee number and manager ID, both columns is having the index. Now if you mention where, now I'm dropping all indexes, what we have. So we have only one index now. Now I'm trying to retrieve the data from where employee number equals to 7902. Okay, now open this. Okay, now it is going for full scan. Okay, because actually, while working with the group or a composite index, so how you created the index. In the same way, if you use that, then only it will help you. If you want to usually, maybe if you are in the lower version, that if you want to see that thing, right, the index will help you. The index usage is happening in this format, mgr. So So you need to provide the values in this way. The combination of two columns, if you use, then only the index will help you. If you created the composite index, you need to use in that particular manner, then only the index will help you to retrieve the data fastly. Else, it won't help you. So in this case, now it is in, I am using like 21C. There is some option like index skip scan. Index skip scan. So this will help you where we have like composite indexes. So in this composite indexed column, if you are using like individually one of the column in this composite columns, okay, in such case, the index skip scan will help you to make it as a individual index kind. To make the advantage, instead of using the group this composite columns, you can use one of the column. If you use the index skip scan option for this, you can simply search in Google index skip scan. Okay, index skip scan in Oracle. Okay, so Oracle's skip scan execution plan allows for the connect. Okay, concatenated the indexes to be used even to sex is not specified in this query. I will help you in the performance concept we have. So in that I'm going. We have some examples for each and everything. I will help you. Okay, how the index skip scan will help you. Okay, see the same. Okay, I will help you. Index skip scan will help you in this case. Okay, now we learn like what the types of index we have. What are the other things like advantage of index, what type of indexes we have, how to rebuild the index, and where it is stored. Okay, so these are all information covered. Okay, so now we are going to see about the sequences.
Unique index is calculating unique index. We should have distinct
records. Distinct.
You
cannot able to create if you have the duplicate values on the table. See, man, you started your bank business. You generated some account numbers manually. So in the olden days, we don't have a net banking. You generated branch specific account numbers. 123, 123, 123. You generated in three branches. Okay. Now the RBI has made some mandatory rule to make each and every thing as a online. Right. So online in the sense you can able to operate your account in anywhere of their branches. Right. If you are trying to make some unique account number for that particular person. You are trying to make uniqueness for each and every account person. Right. The 123 is belonging to you or me or some X person. You cannot able to write. In such case, you need to request the existing account holders. We are going to generate new account number for you, and we are making some unique account number for you. You need to identify the duplicate account holders and remove that, and need to maintain some unique account number for each and every person. This need to be happen. Or I need to ignore that accounts and need to continue the future accounts unique. That also possible. That also possible. That also possible simply. So what we need to use? This can be. Okay. We have some indifferable something like one option. Generate some sequence number for some place. See, you made some automation of, you made some online banking for each and every branches now. Earlier, we don't have the online banking. You made manual account numbers 123, 123 in most of the places, right? Now you are making the account generation in all over the branches. See, earlier you are generating the account number branch specific. So if I'm generating account number for you, I'm noting it down in some place. This can be accessible in your branch. Now the whole account numbers, see what are all the branch information need to be accessible by the all over the branches, right? See, if you are generating the manually account number by the banker, okay, the user generated 123, and he need to store this account number are generated from my end in some place. If the user is trying to generate manually, I'm saying the user won't generate the account number manually. If you observe while opening of the account, okay, the banker will provide the bank application form that does not have the bank account number field in entire application. He will ask your details, entire all the details. What is your occupation, what age, and everything he will ask. He will enter these details and he will make some account number on top of your this. After entering of your details, it generates some account number by the system, not by this user. Okay. If you don't have this system generation number, the user need to generate some account number 123 and he need to note it down and you need to expose this account number with all over the branch. This account number has been already used. And the other person, the other bank need to check while generating of the account number. So he need to check what are the latest account number we have and you need to use the next account number. Okay. The same like 1010 we are trying to like generate the account numbers like n% of 4% trying to generate same and the same time same seconds. Okay, I see like now we have 100 account number. Now the user the 4% is trying to generate the same account number as a 101 because they have the latest account number. Now we have 100, right? It gives the problem, it gives the conflicts with the users, right? To avoid this type of situations, we'll use the sequence concept, right? Sequences will help us to generate some automatic numbers by the system. Now my account number will be 100. Now the next number should be 101. Okay. Who enters the trigger first? It generate the next integer for that. Latest integer plus 1. The 4% has triggered. The 4% has triggered, but someone will trigger it first. If you are triggering that, Oracle will pick one of the query first, then it pick the second query. The simultaneously, the Oracle cannot able to run 4 queries at a time. Minimum fraction of seconds will have some gap. Okay, that will help you to generate some automatic numbers. Okay, simple. Now we have this. We have this. Now we have 1, 2, 3. The next number, if you want to generate manually, then need to generate here. It's difficult for me. I will make the sequence easily like will drag this. How it is generating this. The same way we can able to generate the account number manually, sorry, automatically by the system. For this, you need to create the syntax. Sorry, you need to create a sequence. Okay, simple. Create, sorry, create sequence. Sequence S1. Now the sequence has been created. If you create the sequences will stored in a user underscore sequences. user underscore sequencer. If you observe this, we have some values here. We have some columns here. The sequence name S1 is fine. Minimum value, maximum value. See the sequence, you are asking to the Oracle to generate the sequence from where? From minimum value to maximum value. That you need to mention. If you are generating some account number, mobile numbers for the Airtel or Vodafone, there is some difference. There is some sequence starts with 9849 is Airtel, 9885 is Vodafone. In the earlier, now we have portability. They are migrating with any network. We cannot able to guess. So minimum 9849 is the series for the Airtel. Okay, 9849000000 it starts from the sequence. Okay, then 98490001 is next number. If it reach 9849999999, if it reach this, that need to be error out, because there is no other sequences to generate. There is no mobile number, like there is no other mobile numbers to generate. So the sequence has been used. That reason only they are introducing the new series. See, Airtel has introduced 9866 first, then 9849, then 9949. See, once they are reaching the maximum mobile number generations, they are using the new series, right? See, such type of things we can able to. So for this case, minimum value. Okay, what we can say 9849000001. You cannot able to generate 000000. That need to generate the fancy numbers is going to generate manually. But zero you cannot able to use. The sequence starts with 1. You cannot start the sequence from 0. Okay, so now the minimum value will be 1. Maximum up to how many sequences I need to generate. Now I need to generate the sequence for, in this case, what I said, like 6 digits only. The mobile series will be first 4 digits is the serial number for that particular organization or network. Okay, the 6 digits you need to generate manually. Okay, the sequence starts with minimum value is 1, and starting also starts with 1. Okay, minimum value is 1. See, you need to give this first series number. See, I started my Airtel network or my own network, some XYZ network, which mobile network I started. See, while generating like mobile numbers, I want to give the priority, use this first 6 numbers to my family. Right? If I start the sequence from 1, the minimum value is 1 I'm mentioning. Okay. See, if I want to use that, if I mention like starts with the 1, it use that serial numbers 1 to 6 mobile numbers with other users maybe. Okay. So I want to skip that 6 numbers, keep that as a confidential or like give it to my family member. So I want to keep this unusable. So I can mention start with serial number as a 6. That it ignores the first 5 numbers. Right? See, now it generate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like this. How can I made like a 000001, 000002? How can I made this? Now, just I made this sequence now. Now you can, if you observe here, increment by one sequence number to another sequence number, how many values I need to increase? One value to another value, how many values I need to increase? That you need to mention here. Increment by. Okay. Then cycle. If it reach like the maximum number 1, 2, 999999, it reach. I need to reuse that same sequence again. So you can mention cycle flag as a Y. Recycle, reuse. Then order. So order no use for this. Cache. See, if you observe the people like the private bank people will maintaining the Insta account numbers, Insta kit account numbers. If you are asking to the banker for the salary account, they are going to generate, they are going to give the account number directly with you, and they are going to activate that account number in the later hours. Just he's taking the your details manually, and he's providing like they are coming to your place and they are going to provide Insta account number for you, and they are going to activate that account number later hours. If you observe, like if someone is taking the Insta account number, if someone came from the bank background, they knows they are going to generate. Say now you like started your day at 10 a.m. Like all of a sudden, like in the first day they are coming 1 or 2%. Here the people are able to generate the account number. They are fastly and providing them to account numbers fast. Okay, all of a sudden, like there is some scholarship advantage for the student. They came like a bunch of people came and asked the to generate account numbers. If you are unable to generate the account numbers, you are losing the business. Instead of losing that, the people, so the bank is creating some Insta account numbers from their end to use where we have some problematic, where we have some emergency case. I will provide these account numbers for each and every one. I can generate on non-business hours. I can activate these account numbers non-business hours. The customer will satisfy with this. The bank the bank will have the same activity, but account number is generated prior and I am activating the later. This will help you. I can provide if I came like 100%. I will provide each and every person account number on the same day, but they are going to mention this account number in the scholarship accounts. Okay, they will. He have the time to activate today or tomorrow also. Based on the priority, he can work. Right? See how we have this flexibility. Right? The Insta number generation. The same way, while using of the sequence, instead of calling one by one. So if I am generating like 10 account numbers or one account number, so it calls sequence calling will happen one time. Okay. Instead of doing like the Insta account numbers, it generate like 10 account numbers at a time and keep that in the banker locker or something. They have some options. Okay. So in the same way, instead of generating one by one account number, it takes time to generate. The same way, if you create like a bunch of account numbers at a time, keep in some place. This will keep in the cache memory. Cache memory. So the cache memory will contain the cache. If you call like a sequence, if you use this sequence, it generates 20 sequence numbers at a time. But if you call this sequence, it reads the cache memory. It reads from the cache memory, not from the actual memory. If you mention like cache as a 0 or no cache, then it won't use this. Here you may see some like cache size as a 0. Okay, then it generate only one account number at a time. Cache size, if you mention like 1, it generate whenever it required for you, it executes and provide the results for you. Okay, then last number. What is your latest account number you generated? That you will see in this particular column. Okay, then scale flag. I haven't know this. Okay, extender flag also no idea. Okay, session flag. These are all not required. So what the things is required for you? This only. Okay, so minimum value. Okay, now we created the sequence and we learn about this. If you haven't mentioned anything, just if you mention like create sequence name, These values, what are the values I mentioned here? This will take as a default. If you haven't mentioned this all values, by default, it will take as a manually this. By default, it will take these values. So how to call this sequence? Okay, if you create the sequence need to be initialized. Okay, if you want to initialize the sequence, you need to call sequence name dot next val from dual. So not only from the dual, if you use the employee table, it will execute the sequence 14 times. If you use the dual table, it execute only one time. Right? Now I'm calling the same sequence from the employee table. Okay. Now I'm executing the second time, it's generating 2, right? Now I'm generating the sequence from the employee table. It need to generate 3, right? Generate like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like how many records I have my employee table, right? 14% calling me to generate account number for him. Here the dual table is having only 1%. So I will generate only one account number for him. Now this person, the EMP table is having 14%. So I need to generate each and every person one account number or one serial number, a sequence number. Okay. So now you call this and you see this information. If you observe here, the last number it is showing 41. 41. Okay. The cache it is showing like a 20. So where we are now? 31. Because of this cache memory, first if you are calling the first time, it generate 20 account numbers at a time. 20 account numbers at a time. 1 plus 20, 21. Okay, if it reach the 21 account number, serial number, then it go for the 21 plus 20. It will go for the 41. Okay, now I am calling this. You can observe these things. Now we are in 31. So 32. Search in user underscore sequence. What we have last number? 41. Okay, executing like a 36. Now we are in 36. Still we are in the last number 41. Okay, 37, 38. Also you can observe 41. Okay, if you see like 39, also will be same. If it reach like 40, then you can say 41. If it reach like 41 now, it will show 40, 61. Okay, it's generating 20 account, 20 serial numbers at a time. But it like it generating that insta manner and giving that the usage is happening. The banker cannot able to provide 20 account numbers at a time. He cannot able to throw, right? He need to give one by one account number for one by one person. Okay. So whenever it required for you, it reads from the cache memory, not from the actual memory. The cache you can mention it. But you cannot like beyond the 20, you cannot go. No use. Okay. Now we created the sequence. Now see, now I need to see the what is your latest serial number. So I cannot go with the last number, which is not giving correct, right? So I need to go with the current value. If you want to generate the next serial number, you can go with this. You want to see like curve. This will help you. What is the current serial number? You can run n number of times. It will give you the same results. Current val, CURR curve val. Next val. So curve val, next val, row ID, row number. These are all the pseudo columns. These are all the pseudo columns. This can be used in any of the table. It works, right? It's not part of your table of columns, but it working as a part of the table, right? So this next 12. Now we are creating the sequence. Okay. Now how to skip that? I mentioned like I want to like the sequence need to the first five numbers need to give to my family. So I need to hold that first five numbers. How to hold that serial numbers. Okay. So now I'm dropping the sequence. Drop sequence name, simple. Now, if you want to start the sequence number with start with 6. Now, if you observe in user underscore sequence, see, now we are in the last number 6. Now, no, there is no other difference. The last number is 6 now. Now you can check like you need to see in another value start with, right? Sorry, minimum value. So minimum value and start with cannot be same. So may or may not be same. Start with, I said like minimum upward number starts with 1. Maximum double line, double line, double line. Okay, I can start in the middle of any of the place. No, it's not constant. You see, based on your requirement, you can start with anywhere. See, your father has earned some 100 rupees. You cannot like start from again from 0. You will continue that earning from 100 plus what you are earning, right?
It starts with 1, but
it starts with 1.
in sequence we give 6.
No. My requirement is my sequence need to start with 5 because I need to hold first 5 numbers for my family. Right? I cannot give these serial numbers with others.
That's what I
Yes. Now I mention like start with as a 6. Now, without initializing the sequence, I am calling to execute the current val. It is showing as last number as a 6, right? If I execute the current val, this need to provide the current sequence number, right? Now see, it giving the error sequence. The cur val is not yet defined in this session. If you want to define this, see, it is giving this sequence cur val has selected before sequencing of next val. So you select next val from the sequence before selecting the cur val. Instead of using the cur val first, try to use the next val first, then try to use current val. Okay, then you can check S1 dot next val.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can check in user underscore sequences. Now it will go for the 26. Yes. Now you can check cur val. Okay, then we have increment by default it have 1. Now if you mention like 2. Now if we see select star from S1 dot next val, now we are in 6. Okay, 6 plus 2, 8, 10, 9. If you want to generate odd numbers for each and every person, this starts with 1, increment by 2. If you want to generate events, start with 2 and increment by 2. Right? Then we have other thing like minimum val and maximum val. So we'll mention. Minimum value, well, 7 I'm saying. My starting serial number will be 7, but I'm trying to start with sequence as a 6. Cannot able to start, right? Just need to give error. start with cannot be less than the minimum value. Okay, you cannot able to give. So you need to start the sequence, they start with the minimum value at the same or less than that. If you observe the minimum value here, minimum value is 6. And maximum also I'm trying to change here. Okay, maximum value. Maximum value as 9. Just I'm mentioning for the maximum value as 9. So I cannot able to run like double line numbers, right? If it reach like maximum as a 9, it will give the error. Next 12, 6, 8. See, it cannot able to go beyond the 9. It will give the error. Sequence next 12 exceeds the maximum value, cannot be initiated. If you want to reuse again the same serial number, use the cycle. Okay, this need to be this need to be maximum 22 or something like. Hello. Okay. See the cache size we have, right? See in this case the cache maximum value should be 26 or something. Minimum value is 1. Dimension is 1. Increment maximum value. So what is the cache size we have? 50. Okay. Cache size we have like if you mention like 30 also it get created. Critical box. Okay. No, if you haven't mentioned by default, it will take as a 20. See the minimum maximum value that beyond the cache size, you need to maintain the maximum value. Okay, in this case, you don't maintain like if you don't want to maintain, if you don't want to take the risk, simply you can mention like a no cache. You can mention like a 9 here. It won't give any trouble now. You are ignoring that cache memory now. You are not like giving that. You can check this information and never. These are underscore sequences. Cache. Zero. Okay. Then you can execute this sequence. Now it started with the 1. Restarted my sequence. If it reaches the maximum sequence, see now I'm 9, 1. It's restarting, it is not giving. Once it reaches the maximum number also, it is not giving. Now it need to error out actually. Because of this recycle cycle, it is restarting the sequence. Okay. Now till this fine, right? Now how can we generate that 00001, 0000002, something like 6 numbers need to generate, right? The mobile number, if you want to generate the mobile number need to generate 00001, 00002. Right? How can we generate? No, you can give either way, your wish. So you can provide any way. Okay. So now I said like I need my mobile number series will be 9849. 9849. And if I am calling this, it is generating like a 98496. It's not the, I'm not expecting this, right? It need to generate pad. Right side we need to pad zeros. Pad. So how many digits we need to maintain? 6. What the value you need to pad? 0. See 984900000809. Because of this, it is going for 20. I'm mentioning like a 20. Okay, now the sequence is going to start with 6, 7, 8. Why it went for the increment by 2? Okay, see earlier we have like a 6 digits, sorry, 1 digit we have, it adding like a 5 zeros from left side. We have like a 2-digit number now, 4 digit is added. Once it reach like a this double and triple digits, it will add like only the padding, you know, right? I already explained about padding. So how many digits we have less than of 6, that many digits it is going to add. Okay, so this is the way you need to add. Okay, now this is about the sequence. Okay, see how we'll use the sequence. Now if we have like a employee ID generation, okay, the HR need to generate employee number. Okay, so the user is trying to push this data into this. So take some insert statement of this. EMP. I'm going to close in 5 minutes. See here I'm going to call s1 dot next val. Okay, s1 dot next val. The employee number, it automatically generate the employee number. Whatever the latest employee number we have, the next serial number need to generate. Okay, so now, so change these names. So you can provide anything here as per your thing. Okay, then you may mention any 6,000. See the employee has inserted here with put in as the employee number. If we insert the same employee information again, it generates the different number for him. 15, 16, because we have the increment by 2. Okay, in this format, see whatever the things, how you are generating the bank account number. Okay, whatever the information you are providing from the front end, it capture from the Java and keep this all the values. It capturing all the values except the employee number. What is your name? What is your occupation? What is your date of birth? Every values will be captured and you are going to provide in the form and they are going to enter and capture that and is making this insert statement in this format. In this employee number place, by default, it will call this sequence. This is the format we are going to capture and call this. This is about the sequence. Okay, this also having this also need the privilege. create sequence privilege. You need the privilege create sequence. Create sequence or create any sequence. Any also works in any user. Okay. So we are done with the sequences. We have only one topic, synonyms in the SQL. Before that, we have some practical session. Definitely, I can't go beyond testing. I need to check with all actually, because you people need to work on the directly. You are not having any work from home. You don't have any such type of things. So you need to work as a like a employee in the organization. You need to face with all. You cannot say like the offline online we don't have, we have because of lazy, these all things won't work, man. See, these hours we have, like, these 2 months is not bill, not yours. This all are mine only. 2 months. Then only you can able to sustain the work. You can able to sustain in any organization. Not with that. It's only 1 hour, man. Actually, 2 months is whole 2 months for me only. Actually, so I'm going to spend from this week. This weekend we have long session definitely. Everybody plan to come. We want to gain more. Two persons available. Mr. Veera also will come and any suggestions, any doubts, please let me know. We'll take one day in the week, weekdays, 1 day off. We'll continue Saturday, Sunday. That's feel better actually. Means